Hello, everybody, and welcome to a slightly earlier weekend collective. It's great to see everybody who joined. Thank you for getting up early for those of you that did. And let's get this going, all right? My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. If you're brand new here, welcome. We're going to be taking a look at the next 7 days, all the energy that's coming through. And I always like to start off my videos with some channeled messages, and this, of course, is what comes through spirit. So basically, when I go to sleep the night before I do a major video, I tune into the energy of everyone that's present or that's going to kind of tune in later, and there are things that come through in my dreams and meditations. So that's what we're going to start off with, is the channeled messages. And for you, this was a very timely one because we're just about at the point where Mercury is going to go to direct soon, and it looks like there's basically some cleaning up of old business that needs to happen. So let's talk about that. All right, I saw you at kind of like a boardroom table or a negotiation table, and it felt like there was a lot of talking, a lot of cross-talking, and you were waiting for your turn. So the first thing that Spirit kind of imparted on me was sometimes you just have to lean in and raise your hand or speak up. So I pulled the ultimate boss card, at least in the major arcana. It's the Emperor, and it's basically saying, do just that. Speak up, embrace, and know that it's your right to have a sort of part of this conversation. Also, you don't have to accept the first offer that's put on the table. You don't have to accept the status quo. This is your chance to really do something that feels right for you, okay? And as I got to the next piece here, I also saw that there was, in retrospect, I think it was a guide. To me, it just looked like a familiar face, and you were doing this like, I'm here again, here we go again. So the whole purpose of retrograde, even though we look at it and we're like, why is this happening? It's to help us break a cycle. So the guide was winking and nodding and sort of saying like, what are you doing here? So you don't have to do this. So if there's something where you feel like, here we go again, no, here we don't go again. We're going to change it up and try something different this week in particular. And mid-month, this week, the Mercury should go direct, and then by the end of the month, you're out of the shadow. So between this week and the end of September, let's aim to wrap up anything where it feels like it's cyclical, it's repetitive, and it's just not what you're looking for, okay? You have a chance now to change. And that's why I featured the Chariot here. It's like taking the reins and saying, let's go. And I think the most important thing is informed action, which is something we've been talking about for the past quarter of the year. It feels like the last 2 to 3 months, this has been something that's been prominent. So what do I mean by that? I mean, know why you're doing something, know how it connects to the next big thing, and have a vision, have a plan. And it doesn't have to happen today. Don't feel stressed by this. Feel inspired. And that's why I put dreaming and daydreaming. If you're bored, okay, then go surf online if you can, if you're at work, or take a walk, or I want you to daydream. Do something else. Figure out what you'd rather be doing than what you're doing. So it'll either come in waking dreams or sleeping dreams, but pay attention to them. Write them down. If you have nightmares, write those down too, because there are also forms of divination and information. Basically, this is a chance to wake up to the possibilities and do something that really feels authentic to you, okay? Welcome, everybody. We're going to be taking a look now at the 7-day forecast. I saw when I posted this on my channel page or the community tab that someone said, how does this work? Is it sun, rising, moon? This is everybody. If you showed up, you have a message today. We'll be looking at the elemental forecast, which is, I think, what you were asking me, and you can get some sign-specific information. But right here, right now, it's for everybody present, and it's good to see you. All right, let me just choose a deck for today for this portion of the reading, and then we will see what Spirit has in store for us. All right. By the way, thanks to everybody for being flexible. Sometimes there are schedule changes and I can't control them, so this allowed me to still show up and do it live, which is what I know we all like every weekend. Let me just zoom in a bit. All right, let's see what the next 7 days have in store for us. Lots of reversals this week. I am shuffling the deck. Reversals are not something to be feared or judged. They actually give us additional information. So just take a deep breath if you don't like them, and go with the flow and see what see how I handle the reversals and if you don't like them. All right, let me just get to the day markers so we know what we're looking at. We're going to start off with this Sunday. So overdue action, Six of Swords in reverse. Upright, it's saying that things are going along swimmingly. What I like about this illustration is that once you take the action, it's freeing. We almost look at that like an air balloon, all the birds that are helping her rise up. So if and when you're ready to take the first step, the second, third, and fourth steps are not going to be that difficult. So oftentimes it is the initial step that is most challenging, most significant, and maybe where you need the most support. So today, as you're watching it live, make that first step if you can. Reach out for some help if you need to. She is. All the birds are representing assistance, right? So you don't have to do this alone. Six of Swords reversed also says that sometimes it's worth the wait. When things magically align in your life, whatever feels like, why didn't it happen? Why didn't it happen? All of a sudden, it's like the old phrase, careful what you wish for. When things do happen, you have to kind of like really catch your breath and start to try to like keep up with everything. So don't worry so much about, comparing yourself to someone else or the momentum or whatever. It's sort of self-sustaining, and you're going to find yourself there sooner than later. All right, as we take a look here at Monday, it's a great day. We have the World card. Whether upright or reversed, the World card is auspicious. The World comes through to say things are opening up, things are happening, things are expanding. In the reverse state, they could be happening in an inconvenient way or an unexpected direction, but nonetheless a beneficial thing for you. So it's really about opening yourself up to move, as we just talked about today, and to basically embrace change. I would rather have Six of Swords in World reverse than the Tower. This is just something unfolding. And sometimes it's like a flower and you walk outside and you didn't even know that there was a bud, and all of a sudden something's blooming. So imagine it's kind of like that. What can you do on Monday? This is a great day. If you're traveling, let's start with this first because this came through. You can still travel in Mercury retrograde. You can still do things with technology and deliveries, but they will be more complicated. So add a buffer time on Monday, because it looks like you might need to connect with someone in a different time zone. You might need to travel. You might need to try something outside of your expertise or comfort zone. You can do it. It'll take a little longer than expected, but you can do it. I've had to have a couple of things delivered during this past month, and what I noticed was for one of the deliveries, it took 4 attempts for me. I knew this going into it. I was like, I need this now, so I'm going to have to kind of focus on it. So this past week, I had to call a place 4 times. First, they got the city wrong. Then they got the cross street wrong. Then they had like one item that was wrong. I was like, I'll just keep calling until the order is right. And then everything was okay. But you will have to try a few more times. Even the person at the other end said, this is normally not a problem. I said, it's called Mercury retrograde. So life doesn't wait for the planets. You have to just continue moving with it. But when you know that there's some planetary complications, you can manage it. So Monday's a very expansive, very positive day, but allow a little bit of extra time. Double check your fine print, double check your location, your GPS, all of that jazz, to make sure that you don't end up in the wrong place or that things aren't delayed. But either way, if you plan ahead, you're okay. Life doesn't wait. We're not supposed to sit in our homes just, under a cover for 6 to 8 weeks while planets are doing things. We're supposed to navigate. And that's like the old sailors that used to use the stars to navigate. So we're going to use the planets to navigate, but we're not going to fear what's going on. We're going to be informed by what's going on. All right, so Monday's pretty awesome. All right, good things unfolding. It's a great day to start something. It's a great day to finish something. As we look at Tuesday, partnerships play center stage. You may have to reach across the aisle and try to negotiate with someone. Try to find a compromise. That's why the card was reversed. You can do it. This is a card of eventually seeing eye to eye, heart to heart, or at least finding a middle ground that's comfortable for the two of you. There could be an invitation that's unexpected. There could be an advance that's unwanted. Here's the cool thing. Whenever a very favorable card is reversed, you get to be picky You don't have to accept it if you don't want to, okay? You're also a lot more powerful, magnetic, and capable than you give yourself credit for, and both Monday and Tuesday are very positive cards. So embracing what's coming through and saying, I'm not going to block the blessing. If something great is happening, yes, I accept. I never seen myself as having that attribute or quality, but if someone else does, who am I to turn down the praise? So don't block the blessing. That's something this week that's important. Midweek, as we look at Wednesday, this is a card I want to see reversed. This is starting to look at the world from a different perspective and allowing yourself to sort of to be open to seeing that there is a silver lining to everything, right? So if that's the case here, sorry, someone said it's blurry. If it is, just give it a refresh or just give it a moment here. It's Mercury retrograde, folks. So again, as I was saying, Five of Cups in reverse, that distracted me for a second. With the Five of Cups in reverse, what happens sometimes is we look at what didn't go right and we fixate on that and we think, this is never going to go right, or I'm going to continue to have some issues with this. The other thing that happens sometimes is we focus so much on what we expected to happen versus what is happening, and there's this feeling of like it's not happening fast enough. And like I said earlier, once things start to take off, you'll be surprised at the speed with which things move. So give yourself a chance to just start to expect some positivity. Look at all the eyes looking at her. She's focused a lot on optics. So what happens with this is sometimes we are worried that things are worse than they are. And sometimes you call attention to details that don't need to be focused on. So if no one else is noticing a flaw, like in the way you're speaking, the way you look or whatever, and it's just a flaw that you're fixated on, let it go. Think of like a beauty mark, right? Sometimes there are defining features that just are, that make you exactly who you are. So don't see it as a flaw, see it as a feature, and don't spotlight it so much. Let other people see it if they want to, and otherwise call attention to the other amazing things that you're bringing to the table, okay? So it's not only shifting your perspective, but not projecting a fear, anxiety, etc. Anyway, and I'm glad the refresh worked. I have a monitor on the side. It seems to be fine too. This is retrograde. Things are kind of quirky. When we're doing live streams like this, I expect it sometimes. So thanks for that confirmation. I do care about the quality and I do read the chat, so I just wanted to make sure. All right, let's skip to Thursday. Thursday, it's the Soul upright card, and it's a great one to be upright for this week. 10 of Cups. This is a day to do something social. Even if you don't normally do it, hang out with a friend. If you were thinking of asking someone out, or you want to spend more time with someone that you love and deepen the relationship, 10 of Cups is super favorable for all types of relationship statuses. It's also really good for professional networking as well. You may be choosing to prioritize your family, your friends, also just spending a little bit of time. Usually I would look at 10 of Pentacles as more of the home, but this can also be home and the people that are closest to you. And also not to underestimate your capacity to call good things into your life. 2 of Cups, 10 of Cups, lovers. Very magnetic, very attractive, very good for making things happen. This is probably the best day for negotiation. This is the second best because we have the people power coming through, okay? End of week, you're entering into boss mode. On Friday, we have the King of Wands in reverse. So when I saw you at the negotiation table, it's actually probably just you with your spiritual counsel is really what I was seeing. You don't have to be working in an office. You don't have to, it could be anything. What I just saw was your peers around you. So this is a day to really show what you have to say, your potential, just basically show up. And I love that we see him kind of like sparking that flame and that fire. This is a very active King of Wands. He's standing up from the throne and he's saying, this is what I believe in. This is what I want to do. And he's showing it. It's a demonstrative card too. So walk the walk, basically, show exactly who you are and what you have to offer and allow other people to see that value as well. Keep an open mind. The only thing that we want to be mindful of with the King of Wands in the reverse state sometimes is that it's sort of like my way or the highway. So if you're connecting with someone and they have that approach, it's about trying to open up their experiences a bit. But if it's you, we don't want to be so rigid. That would be my only sort of note on that. Okay. All right, let's take a look at Saturday. Next Saturday, we have another very social card, the Three of Cups in reverse. The reverse of this has a different note. It's saying, make sure that you're inclusive of other people. So if you see someone that looks like an outsider, walk up to them and say hello. I have a very vivid core memory of when I moved from the West Coast to the East Coast, because my dad had a job transfer when I was a kid. I was about 10. And then I ended up moving back to the West Coast as an adult. But for about 10 years, I went to school on the East Coast. But I remember the first day of class, the bus ride, actually. I didn't know anybody. And there was this really cool kind of older kid, a couple grades ahead of me, who just sat down and said, "Hi, I'm such and such, welcome." And then he introduced me to a couple people and totally sort of made my day, actually. He didn't realize that made my day. I also had a neighbor who in the summertime kind of introduced me a little bit. And then at school, she was like, "Hey, welcome, come sit with me." So I had a couple of helpers, in that first, and it's so hard when you move and you know nobody. It's also really cool because you're the new kid, so you can embrace it. But I needed that inclusive energy. I needed a couple of people to pull me into the Three of Cups. So I was on the outside looking in and they pulled me in. So if you see someone that would benefit from that sort of inclusive energy, be inclusive. If you just feel like an outsider, it may be more just self-confidence. Go and say hi. If then you feel that sense of disconnection or they're snobby or whatever, okay, good. Glad to know that. I don't need to associate with that. Not my fault, not my problem. Probably wouldn't connect with them anyway. So avoid cliques, be inclusive, and this is also an unexpected day for coming out of your shell. So oftentimes Three of Cups in reverse happens when we think, I don't want to go to that event. You go and you have the time of your life. So sometimes it's worth putting yourself out of your comfort zone because it could be unexpected. This is what I get when the card's reversed. It's not your typical Three of Cups. So I like reversals because it forces me to look at it from other angles. All right, next Sunday, we have the Knight of Cups or the Prince of Cups, and it's reversed. And this is just a self-care day. This is a day to let it go. When we have the cups upside down, it's basically saying, I need to release what I've been holding on to. It's not serving me. It's not helping me. You could be feeling overwhelmed. You might want to talk to a friend or to a professional, or you might just want to take care of yourself. So whatever you need to do to get back into a happy space, that's what you want to focus on a week from today. It's also a day where there could be a lot of creative energy flowing through you, a lot of heavy emotions. So always find an outlet for those sorts of things, and you might actually have a creative and productive day as a result. All right, we're next going to move into the elemental forecast. And the elemental portion is basically going to help you take a look at fire, earth, air, and water. So for all of you that did want a sign-specific message, that's what this is going to be. Let me kind of test drive a newer deck for this portion. And let's see what's coming through. Yes, inclusive energy. That's the word I was looking for. All right, so let's give this a shuffle and see what we've got. Fire, beautiful fire card. Earth, air, and water. All right, let's see what these cards have to say for this week ahead. All right, starting off with fire, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Look at that beautiful auric field around this person. It's almost like the arc line, right? So the Magician, you can pretty much do anything you set your mind to this week. You're also very charismatic. This is like a card of chemistry. So if you want to, if you have a date, if you have a meeting, if you have an important connection with somebody, when you feel good about yourself, they feel that energy. We can see him emanating it from his heart space, from his, really just from all parts of his body. So this is a time to really get comfortable in your skin and to push out that positivity. Focus on the one thing where you feel like you can make the biggest impact. The magician is most powerful when he's not overextending himself. So take one thing, put your energy there, really put your energy there, and see if it doesn't result in what we saw with the Six of Swords card, where things just start to lift up. The other thing with this is believing that there is a way to make something happen. Like there's a way out, a way through, that you are the one, that you're able to do this. So believing in yourself. And that's our special topic on some levels here, self-worth. That is going to be a key to the prosperity here. So thank you, by the way. Good topic today. It's the dragon, wealth, prosperity, and self-worth. I feel like our fire signs are already nicely aligned to that. This is one of the best cards. It's also a beginning. The Fool really kicks it off, but the Magician is where the magic starts to happen, literally. So this is a week where you start to really feel like there's a breakthrough on some sorts and some levels, and nothing to not like about that. So it feels like it's a really good energy for all my fire signs. Moving on to Earth, Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. You might need a rest, and it doesn't have to be sleeping. So I like this Four of Swords. We see someone here just chilling. Taking the night off, taking the day off. When was the last time that you gave yourself sort of like a mental health day, a self-care day, a vacation, holiday, etc.? So the Four of Swords here is inviting you to do that. And it may be okay to just take the night in too. If you're being invited out all the time, just say, you know what, I think I'm going to read a book, or I'm just going to cook for myself tonight, relax, chill. There's something to be said for that. If this were a traditional Four of Swords, the message here would also be quality and quantity of sleep. What have you, and even just meditation, have you been giving yourself enough downtime? In the downtime comes the dreams, the daydreams, the clarity, the integration, all of the stuff that allows us to be better. Last night I had to go to bed real early because I was getting up, I had to get up at like 5 this morning. So I went to bed around 8 or 9 p.m. For me, that's a little earlier than normal, but felt easy. It was good. I was already tired. So listen to your body. I could have taken a hike, done a bunch of other things yesterday. I'm like, no, I'm going to go to bed. I'm tired. So do that. Get your rest, get your sleep. It's going to help you. And you'll be able then the next day to be clear, fresh, razor sharp. And it's interesting that this particular deck shows the Four of Knives. So each of those hours of sleep, it's like a sharp tool. Your brain is sharper. See it as that and then embrace it. All right. So Earth, take care of yourself, rest, hold space for new things to happen in your life. The space is more important than going and going and going. Okay. From Earth to Air, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. We have the Daughter of Coins here, the Page of Coins. And so for this one, we see the beginning of something new, and perhaps you're even sending and receiving some of this information to someone else here. So Pentacles, resources. You might be putting an offer on the table. I saw the boardroom. This, for some of you, could be negotiating for a car, for a house, for a job. And it's a give and take, and it's a back and a forth sort of thing. And the page is the one that's going to get the work done. So you may find yourself in the throes this week of numbers, information, data, and you'll have to sit there and ask questions and go back and forth. You can get what you want, and you don't have to, again, it's advantageous if it isn't necessarily the first offer or the only offer. So do your research, ask questions, ask for a little bit more, be reasonable. But we see movement here with this card. And we even see her getting one step close to being the knight here. So it feels like she's just one step away from something amazing happening. Okay? All right. Moving on now to our water signs. We have the Two of Cups. So this particular Two of Cups is in the upright position. I like that they chose baskets in this because it's anything that can receive here. So open yourself up to receiving. It's not just love. Opportunities could be knocking. Opportunities are going to be amplified by favorable partnerships. You don't have to do something alone. So if you want to get a task or something important in your life done, think about having a friend, a partner, a family member be there with you. This is a really good week for teamwork. You may also figure out in the throes of this sort of situation, you found a best friend or you found someone that you can really lean on. This can In addition to being a great week to date, to deepen existing relationships and to find love, it could also be a week to find friendship and find camaraderie, and to find that through the partnership comes something much more productive and much more sort of fruitful than had you done it alone. And I love that we see all of these lovely little flowers there in the baskets. Okay? Let me know if you like that new deck. This is one that I just picked up. I always like to kind of test it here before I use it in the main spread. So overall, there actually wasn't a bad card for the whole week. It looks really, really good. Trust your power, get some sleep. Again, lean into that negotiation table, and sometimes two heads are better than one. I think we can all benefit from those collective messages because we typically have placements in the different elements. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Okay, our special topic today is the dragon, and this comprises wealth, prosperity, and self-worth. The wealth and prosperity come out of self-worth equals net worth is another way to say that. So it's definitely something that we'll look at. All right, let me see. I think I'm going to use an older deck for the main spread. Afro Goddess is maybe calling to me for today, just because I like the rich colors in this one. Okay, let's see what's coming through, everybody. So good to see you. Welcome. And let's focus on the areas of wealth, prosperity, and self-worth. Again, this portion is for all present. Great to see everybody from different parts of the world. While I'm shuffling the deck, let me know where you're watching from. Always good to sort of see that. This is such a nice, bright deck. We needed that today. Yeah, I haven't used this deck in a long time. I'd used it way too much. And then I was like, oh yeah, I still have that one. Now it's a collector's item because it's out of print, so that's cool. I think I like it because it's so bright and the colors are so rich and it's so easy to look at. And it's a handmade one too, so. It's interesting, the first thing I saw on this was Jupiter. Like the colors reminded me of Jupiter. I think we have a retrograde coming up with that as well. So we'll focus on that expansion. Like I said before, whether it's Mercury or Jupiter or whatever, whatever's retrograding, it's still a chance for us to focus on, you can still make things happen. It's just sometimes a little bit more work. Wow, so many different places. We've got Australia and Poland and the Philippines, UK. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for taking time. It's truly my honor to be here with all of you today. All right, let's begin with the catalyst for today. For this week ahead, I'm using a floral deck here. Strength of character and moral integrity. We have the gladiola. This is very much a spring-summer bulb. I used to grow this with my mom when I was a kid. They're beautiful and really fragrant and nice to cut and kind of have inside. So let me read I'll pull it up to the camera so we can read it together. Character cannot be developed in ease and in quiet. Only through experiences of trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, vision cleared, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Helen Keller. I would stand, first of all, she's an amazing teacher. So yes, Helen, we believe in that. I would say not only through trial and suffering. I like to remind folks that yes, pain and difficulty and suffering is one level of expansion. So is joy. So is euphoric sort of energy. But what the pain does, and this is really what Helen is getting at, I believe, if I can take a moment to intuit. Pain gives us context. Struggle gives us context. Setback gives us context through which and with which we can appreciate the joy. And it is an amazing teacher and an important one, and one that we can't really do without in this life, and maybe have the same empathy that we would had we gone through it. So when things don't work out, you then appreciate when they do. And so that's my takeaway from that. And then from that, something beautiful usually comes forth. So we love the gladiola. This is also connected with, like I said, spring and summer energy. So in the Northern Hemisphere, we're just finishing up our summer sequence here. We have about another 10 days or so, and then it's done. That's okay. It's all cyclical, but it shows that there could be some really cool seeds that you're planting that will come through in the spring. And if you're watching in the Southern Hemisphere, you can just adjust it to your seasons as well. It's showing that the spring and summer energy that's about to happen is going to be very fruitful. All right, let's go ahead now and take a look at the Celtic Cross itself and see what the overall energy is as we look at this. So again, through the lens of finding self-worth and prosperity, basically, we never get the inner child, we never get the inner work or inner healing, but it's kind of a part of this on some levels, because in order to help you with the self-worth piece, I have to look at what's blocking self-worth. And so change and fear of failure, jumping right out of the spread here. That's why I do like this deck. So once we get past that, though, we do see prosperity. So the dragon energy came through loud and clear with the Wheel of Fortune. And there's a lot of tools here to navigate some of the changes. So let's just take it card by card. Everything else is pretty favorable. I see you heading in the right direction, and I can see where the block is really nice and clear. Your center card is the Empress. And again, nicely connected to the season we're just about to embark on here in the Northern Hemisphere. This is one of harvest. And this is also a birthing and releasing card as well. So what's happening when Empress energy is in the reverse state is holding on to something. And it's like, you can see she's pregnant. It's like being past your due date. You know that that baby needs to get out into the world, and it becomes increasingly more and more important. There comes a point where you have to do something like a cesarean so that you can birth the baby. So there might be something in your life where it's time to either release the hold that you had on it. It could also be grief, by the way, or it can be fear. We hold on to different things in our life. It's not just something that we're working on. So there's something that has served the larger purpose, and the birth is you too. It's not necessarily something from you. So you get a chance to now let go of that and be something different. It can be a career path too. Whatever it is, something has more than served its higher purpose. And now, in order to sort of reap the rewards of all the work and all the opportunity that's knocking, you have to let go. Only you can do it. And that's basically what that says. And I like that we see all of the signs here with this Empress. Really nice for a collective reading like this. It's something we can all benefit from. Crossing this, we have the Five of Pentacles. This is going to help us get through the hold that something has on you. So what we see here is also a tree between two seasons, the illusion that if we didn't understand how this planet worked, and that you went to a part of the world where winter was happening, and you only saw this part of the tree, its life cycle, you wouldn't know that in another 6 months it would look like this. So if you're in the winter part of your experience, spring's about to happen. Summer's going to be around the corner. Some really cool things are happening. So there are seasons in our life of happiness, of sadness, of birth, of loss. They're seasons. And I was thinking about this the other day because I knew fall was really close. We'll do something for the equinox as well. I haven't decided what, but we'll do something special. But each season it's a quarter of the year. So you wish you could hold on to each of them, but they have something beautiful. I love long days, warm weather, sunlight, but I'm a Libra. I have a fall birthday, so I also, especially when I was on the East Coast, I love to see the trees change colors. I love the smell of the earth and the trees as they started to release all of their, there's a smell in the air of fall, and I always like that. I like seeing the first frost. I like pumpkins. I liked all of that kind of stuff too. And then I also like all of the beautiful decorations around the winter time. It's like every season has something cool, right? So if you hold on to just one of them, you're stuck and you don't get to see the next season. So The things I don't like about each season also will pass quicker than usual. The winter one is the hardest. So it feels like to me, some of you are holding on to a season, either a painful one or a joyful one, and we can't do that. It just keeps moving. Even in California, we have seasons, just more subtle. More specifically, Five of Pentacles has to do with money and health. The two areas in your life that could block you right now when it comes to this. For money, it's giving away more than you need to give away because you feel like, it's exactly the topic today, I can't ask for more or they will say no or I'm not worth it. Where does that come from? Usually youth, usually childhood, usually a setback where someone said something like that. Only this type of person can have that. You're not this enough to experience that. Or just simply no, and it hit more than you thought it would. So the rejection of the past is not the reality of the present. What was it? It was just giving you context, like Helen Keller said. It was giving you a little bit of a rough, like a little scar or something, so that when the good news is about to happen, you're going to say, thank goodness, and I'm not going to let this one go. That's the one thing that you can embrace, is the opportunity that comes knocking. Let go of the pain of the past, okay? That season is done. When it comes to your body, pay special attention to your lower extremities, particularly your ankles, your foot, and even your shin. So if you've had any previous injuries there, be mindful of that. If you're walking, don't multitask. I had to walk Apollo earlier, so I turned on the light on my phone so I could see where we're walking. Little things like that will help you out, okay? Let's see what's going on in your deep past. We have the Page of Wands. So this is opening your mind to new things, talking about your ideas to others with an open heart and an open mind. And instead of asking, telling. This is the key here. Especially if you're announcing something. So instead of saying, well, would it be okay if I just say, I'm really interested in this. What can we do to make this happen? That's so much more powerful. And then even just coming out in general, whether you're announcing a proposal or literally coming out, you just say, I love you and this is a part of who I am, so I wanted to tell you. And it's not asking permission. So you don't have to ask permission to do something that's right for you. And that's what the page is saying. Announce it, express it, convey it, live it, because she's demonstrative. She doesn't have to talk. We're not looking at the Page of Swords here. So she's just living her best life. So live your best life. That is an attractive trait when you're successful and you know it and you aren't asking for permission to be who you are. You don't have to do that for anybody. Okay, we have the Two of Wands here. The world is your oyster, right? It's starting to open up here. Yeah, you just have to believe it. And we can see also that she can see it. We see a halo around her. Things start to kind of move around her, almost like satellites. This was what I was talking about earlier. Informed action. She has a vision. She's been dreaming, daydreaming, planning, thinking, and now things are starting to open up. And it isn't necessarily just about what you have. It's about what you can have, what you want to have, what you dream of having. And seeing now, oh, there's a path to that. Oh, I hadn't thought about this. Once you unlock the vision, then the paths reveal themselves. And that will help you get into the path of prosperity too. So one message from Spirit is, yes, you can. Yes, you will. All right? Let me take a drink and then we're going to talk about the Tower. Okay. There could be a change in leadership. It's interesting that this is the White House here. The change in leadership can be your boss. There could be, for some of you, a new mentor in your life. You may also see yourself thrown into an authority role that you hadn't factored in before. So I've thought about this too in my own life, where back when I used to have a job where my boss changed a couple times at a place that I worked, it radically changes the environment because they bring with them their own new people. They change things up. You have to get used to a new order. So some of you might be in the middle of that, and you can decide whether or not it fits your energy and your vision, because this and this, these are absolutely connected. By the way, this can be manifesting this. When you finally see what you want, what you don't want, if you don't take the steps to make it happen, the universe will take the steps to make it happen for you. So when you think to yourself, even just a subtle thought that enters in and exits your mind, like, God, I wish I wasn't here. The universe heard you, and it's going to help you find a better path. But sometimes that means making it uncomfortable where you're at. That's typically the blessing of the Tower, is it comes through to agitate to the point that you have to say or do something. So don't wait until the Tower comes. And if the Tower comes, embrace it and say, all right, I'm going to move with this change. It's long overdue. Change of environment, change of path. It's usually pretty big. And it can be very good, by the way. It can also be you winning some sort of recognition, winning money. It can be a proposal, a birth, something awesome, because we did get that Empress at the center. So when you have a baby, it can be that too. Or when you change something significant. The Tower can be good, especially if it's part of this. These two we want to avoid, though. This is burnout. This is fear of failure. This is working too much or doing something too much that's not sustainable. So if there's something in your life that isn't sustainable, let it go so you don't get into the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords in reverse, though, I'm going to read this a little different for you. This is saying, first of all, you can get through anything. We see the little butterfly there. But when you're in the throes of something difficult, oftentimes it just feels like the sky is falling. It's the end of the world. So the Ten of Swords is saying, allow yourself to stop something before it becomes too much for your body. So don't burn the candle at both ends. Don't be afraid to try something because you're afraid that you might fail. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Do a lot less. Be a lot kinder to your body. And again, taking the words of Helen Keller, if something uncomfortable or difficult happened, it is not going to be around forever. We talked about the seasons. Things will shift. Things will change. You'll look at this and you'll think, I got through it. For me, it was last year. I had not a fun last year, but it's this year's so much better. There are years that are really, really difficult. There are years that are really, really good. There are a lot that fall somewhere in between. And we just keep showing up. Keep showing up, okay? That's my message for all of you. Because you never know what today will hold. Let's forget about tomorrow. Today could be great. Why wait until tomorrow to make something cool happen? By the way, that's the other thing. Like, if you don't like the relationship you're in or the job that you're in, what are you waiting for? If the other partner or if the other party isn't working with you, life is finite. Life is too valuable to wish away or wait away time. Today, some good stuff has to happen. And that's a nice segue into this card. This is making choices. And we can literally see the different people reaching out and saying, I want some more. And so you have to decide how much more you can give to each person, right? And also like making sure that you're reserving enough for you. With proper choices, pretty quickly you can move from this to this. And that's a lot. So we have the Six of Pentacles and we have the Nine of Pentacles here, okay? So balance, choice, discernment. You don't have to do everything. You can't make everybody happy and you can't help everybody. So you have to decide who you can make, who you care about, whose opinion matters most, who you can help the most, and also don't forget about you. All right, sorry, I didn't mean to put the shuffle card here, this one. All right, as we're looking at your environment, we have Nine of Pentacles. This is good. Opportunities knocking. This one is a slow and steady card. So we see grapes in this particular illustration. Grapes take time. They take a lot of nurturing, and you've worked to get to this point. Typically, there's also like a garden snail, which represents the pace isn't always really fast. So take your time, enjoy, and make sure that you're not trying to rush to accomplish all these things, to check all of these things off. Everything happens exactly when it needs to happen. Nine of Pentacles, independence. So we're looking again, I just like to continually look back at wealth, prosperity, and self-worth. You can do it on your own. I was talking to a friend the other day that was just frustrated in their own path. And I said, as long as you don't want it to happen overnight, you can take a page from what I did. I don't even talk, I talk about the corporate stuff, but like, I don't have a resume per se. It's just what I do now. So I define myself by my present, not so much my past. And so like I have an old LinkedIn profile that I don't use, but I took everything out for the most part. I have like 2 or 3 things, just that I'm a content creator here on YouTube and like my alma mater, and that was it. I'm like that's a version of myself that went through judgment and it's done, and I don't need to talk about it that much anymore. So if you're willing, this person, I said, why don't you think about repackaging your skills? Doesn't mean you have to start your own company, but you could do something completely separate from your career path and be happier. Because this person wasn't happy, and it reminded me of when I was doing the same thing and I had a couple people in my life saying, you don't have to keep doing this if you're not happy. And one day I was like, I don't want to do this anymore because this isn't me anymore. So if you've graduated, then you can do something on your own, but it could take time. So for me, it took at least 2 to 3 years to kind of get settled in the new thing. And it took me double that to really feel like, oh yeah, this is smart. I don't look back with any regret, but I also didn't know how much work it would take and how much work it would be. And sometimes that ignorance is bliss, but I'm glad I did it. And I'm glad I did it when I did it. I've talked about this as well, but just in case you've never heard me say it, I had a healer at the time that reminded me that there were just a couple of connecting points in my life. He used the analogy of a connecting flight. He said, if you don't do this now, I can't see when the next connecting flight is. Do you want this to happen in your lifetime? I said, yes, I do. He was like, well, it's time to get on the flight. It's time to pack your bags. I was like, okay. I still made the choice. I took another 6 months to figure out how, when, etc. But I made a decision in that sort of therapy session that I needed to get on the connecting flight. So for each of us, that connecting flight is going to be something different. It could be sending off an application to school. It could be an application to a new job. It could be deciding I want to live in this part of the world, so moving to a different state, country, or province. It could be moving in with somebody, whatever. But the connecting flight's about to happen. So I'm going to be your push to figure out when you're going to book your flight, all right? To make sure that you don't miss it. Then take your time. It takes a while to get settled in something new. Speaking of education, speaking of enlightenment, we have the Hermit card here. She's upside down here, hopes, fears, and opportunities. So do your research. Know, however, that whatever you need to do, the Hermit is often shown as a wizard or sorceress in different decks because it is the epitome of knowledge and power, and it doesn't have to show it. So you have what it takes, but it's almost like I can see it, the universe can see it first. So the card is reversed. So once you give yourself credit and allow yourself to be the wise one here that really is the Hermit, it'll be okay. And by the way, you don't have to tell everybody everything. It's nobody's business. So if you need to do something in your life and you're solid and everything's together, like I said before, you don't have to ask permission for everything. Just do it. Make it happen. And then if people take notes, say, yeah, I've been working on that. Glad you noticed. Because it's for you. And there might be something that you're doing just for you in this moment in time. You might also be seeking out a mentor or deciding to lean into being a mentor. Either way, really, really nice. Okay. As we take a look here, this is why we showed up today. All of this will help you get into the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune, interestingly enough, we see 2 different iterations of the sort of goddess on this card. One where she's like Atlas holding up the weight of the world, and one where she's kind of on top, just sort of feeling, I did it. And so it takes to be able to be the one that's sitting pretty on top, you do have to sometimes push and work your way around the wheel. The wheel doesn't move on its own. The wheel of life, the wheel of the world, the planet, all these things move. But when it comes to fortune, sometimes we have to spin it. We have to decide to steer, like the car, the wheels of our car, or like the silly game show. You have to spin the wheel and get it moving. So this is a chance to spin it, but once it starts spinning, it will keep moving. Think of space. So allow the motion to be something that is perpetual and self-sustaining once it's initiated. So your goal this week is to initiate the momentum and the motion. and again, I'm not an astrophysicist, but I do know that the bodies that are out in space will continue to move once they've started. So you just need to get it going, and that will help everything. And then also, the Wheel of Fortune, money and worth, is subjective. Success is subjective, meaning that my criteria for success will be different than yours. And that's okay. That's why we're all individual souls on this planet. I'm not here to dictate success. I'm here to ask you what it is that you think you need to be happy and fulfilled. That is one component of success for me. Yes, money. Yes, acknowledgement can be another. But I would definitely underline those two things. Are you happy? Are you fulfilled? When you go to sleep at night, do you feel like you made a difference? Put those into the mix and see how those feel for you, and see if they don't maybe take on a different weight than they used to. And that'll also help you balance out your success quotient. All right. I feel like we are ready now to expand this and look at health, wealth, love, and destiny. All right. This will also help us see if there are any blocks in these particular areas when it comes to prosperity. So let's start off with our health card here. And I'm going to take a look at the energy of health. I looked at this and saw Jupiter, even though, like, just from the side, doesn't that kind of look like Jupiter? So this is for me like blocks and expansion. Sorry. So we have the return, and it says own your mastery. So we looked at the Hermit card a couple moments ago, and this is really just saying believe in yourself, know that you are powerful, capable, ready, etc. With the card in reverse, there could be different. Some of you are going through a solar return. Some of you might be going through a Saturn return. And in these really significant moments in your life, you will have some lessons coming forth that may call into question how prepared you are. But we got the Empress at the center. We got the Hermit. Those are two very wise cards. To me, that shows me that you have what it takes. But if you don't believe in it, nobody else will. And that is one of the first major blocks that we've gotten today, is disbelief. And so you must focus on understanding, embracing, and believing in your capacity. You'll be happier, you'll be healthier, you'll be more prosperous. Okay? Specifically looking at health messages here with the understanding that these are energetic sort of calls to action. And you're going to have to lean into your own body to figure out what's going on. This is the one that I focus on first and foremost. Don't burn the candle at both ends. And if you've gone through something difficult, it's connected to the snail energy that isn't here but is a part of this. It takes time. This marks the 1-year anniversary of me having like a broken foot, having to move, having all that stuff. And it took a while, took a minute for me to get back to my normal self, my normal energy. So as someone who's gone through an injury, a broken bone and stuff like that, the body takes a long time to heal sometimes. And then it's here and here, it's mental and emotional. So make sure you're healing all the wounds, all part of your physical and subtle body, okay? And it could be from 10 years ago, there's something that you're working on. But this is the month to let it go. This is the week to let it go, because we're looking at the next 7 days. So there's that. This can be chronic pain or fatigue that could be agitated, or this can be a flare-up. So if that's going on, the good news is we have a favorable card in the outcome. Everything here looks pretty good. It looks like you might just be a little bit out of balance. Something's out of balance, but it can be brought back into balance. So that's something where you would definitely want to work with a professional. But the agitation has more to do with pushing yourself too far, the flare-up or whatever this is. Taking all of that out of the equation, some of you might be pregnant. Congratulations if you are. Some of you also might be ready to start something big, and you're just feeling the weight of that, the feeling like there's a lot to carry. And so realize baby steps to get there, literally one step at a time. Most of the cards are actually pretty manageable this month when I'm looking at health. This is the next one that I want to focus on, which is don't rush. If you rush, you might make a mistake that creates more work in the long run. Pay attention to where you're moving. Again, making sure that you're not tripping, etc. We don't want anybody to sprain an ankle, etc. Just be mindful of that. Don't push your body too far. Be very aware of your environment. And if you're going through a solar or a Saturn return, we can see the power and capability here. The lessons are coming through a little stronger than usual, but you've got this, all right? Let's transition into the next one. We're going to take a look at wealth. In wealth, what you want wants you. Okay, that's cool. This is basically saying you're worth it. There was a silly TV ad in the 80s, I think it was the 80s, where it was a hair commercial and the person was dyeing their hair because she was worth it. Sybil Shepherd, right? She would be like, I'm worth it. And that actually is a good mantra, FYI, but like you don't have to, it's not about like coloring your hair. So what you want wants you. You have to feel worthy of the opportunity coming in. So you're worth it and you're receiving it because of your capability, the work that you've done, your preparedness, all of that, okay? If you don't want what's coming through, express your feelings. But if you got something, it's because you're in the right place at the right time. And with wealth, we're looking at resources, life purpose, and career. So if something exciting is happening in any of those quadrants, good for you, okay? Yeah, thank you. I'm not for those that remember the brand, I couldn't remember. I just remember her shaking her blonde locks saying, I'm worth it. Okay, looking at other things with wealth. I feel like some of you need to get out of a situation. So if there's a lot of stress going on and you've been waiting for that moment, this is that moment. Find your landing pad, your safety net first, then you can start things in the right direction. So I'm just affirming and confirming. If anybody feels burned out and like there's bad leadership, I see it as well. Some of you have just reached an important point in your career. So for those that are ready to retire, we don't always highlight you at the beginning, but I will for those of you today, or are looking to completely change the trajectory. So retirement, or like what I did, dropping out of something and moving into something else, like possibly creating your own business. I see that. And there's a fear of like, people around you will say, are you crazy? There's a cool song by Peter Gabriel, Salisbury Hill. And he says, all my friends think I'm a nut or whatever, I'm crazy. And he's using that. I mean, it's kind of pejorative, but you know what he's saying, thinking that he's lost his connection to reality. He hasn't. In the song, he says he's at the top of this hill thinking, I've never been more connected to my path. Maybe all of you are the ones that are not thinking. So yes, you're ejecting yourself from something, but it wasn't serving you, your highest good. So take control if you need to. And the next phase is so much more fun because you're taking your time, you're balancing out your time and energy. You're comfortable being on your own if you need to. You're your own best company, and some really great things are around the corner. So the best is yet to come is what I see with those of you that are quitting, retiring, or changing things altogether. If you want to change majors, same thing if you're a student. For those of you that want to work through a situation, you're like, Nicholas, I can't afford to not be where I'm at. Okay. So this is leaning into that boardroom conversation. This is the vision. This is getting over the fear and saying, I have to change it, so I'm going to be the one that changes this. You come forth not asking for permission, but saying what you want, and it happens. So you have choices in this. But no matter how we look at it, there is this sense of, I have to take the reins or I have to take the connecting flight. Change it or leave it. But there's not a lot of in between. The tower won't let you just sort of sit by on the sidelines. So this month, there's a big choice. Do the work and stay, or do the work and find a new path. And those are the main messages. And if you're making a big shift, it's exactly the right time to make the big shift in your life, okay? And because we're looking, it's the topic. Yes, I got wealth here in the outcome, so that's a favorable card. Perfect. Let's move on to love. Platonic, friends, family, romantic, all of this is the first piece when I'm looking at the oracle card. Okay, so for that, we have the coyote. The coyote carries with it the revelation energy, revealer of truth. So here's what the coyote has to teach us. The first one's kind of interesting. Don't take things too seriously. I think it means have a sense of humor about life. There are some things we can control. There are some things that we can't. Knowing how to just sort of make the most of it is key. Make time to play. Yes. For those of you who got the Four of Swords, I mentioned that it makes you sharper. It was cool that they used knives in that deck. So your mental acuity is coming because you're resting. Wisdom comes from laughing. Yes, humor is good. You can cry, you can scream, you can sweat it out. You can also laugh it out. So why not laugh it out? Look out for traps and tricks of life, Seven of Swords, and learn from them. Learning, having context, common theme today. So we got a lot in relationships. Relationships can be a teacher if that's what you're looking for. So think about that before we move on, before I look at the 3 different relationship types. If you are fully doing all of the integration work, a lot of what we just talked about on that card, then you will pull in someone that kind of like the basket image that we saw earlier, 2 of baskets, someone who is sharing the load, sharing the journey, walking side by side, isn't filling up your basket. They have their own sort of things to offer. So you'll call in a partner, not a teacher. So maybe we want to focus on that so that there can be abundance, because otherwise your battery is emptying out, right? If you have to fill up their basket. And this card was reminding you that it needs to be as close to equal as possible. Now let's look at it in a different light. So what we're going to focus on now is those that are in an existing relationship. Then I'll move on to single and looking and single and happy. So if you're already in a relationship, whether you can actually look at this as your core relationship in life. It doesn't have to just be marriage. So someone that you love and care about a lot and that you've invested a lot in. Here's what we see. Things are changing. The 2 of you are changing. So change is the common theme. One of you might be going through a really difficult time. The other one of you, it just needs to be there as best as possible, but cannot fix everything. And so knowing boundaries, limits, and how far you can help and how much you can help, that's going to be the key to success. It might be a time where both of you need a little bit of space so that you can sort out, let the dust settle, learn. You still need to work together and be bringing in like 50-50, but some of that space can be on your own so that you can figure out what it is that you need to do. And again, a distance kind of makes the heart grow, and you'll be like, I miss you. So create some space a little bit, sort out what you need to sort out. And most importantly, and this will help the 2 of you align a bit, what's next in this journey, in this relationship? Take care of yourself, ask for what it is that you need as well. Even when you're married to an intuitive or partnered up with an intuitive, they shouldn't have to grab their tarot deck, their runes, or their crystal to figure out, their scrying, any of that stuff to figure out what's going on. You should be able to have a heart-to-heart communication. I don't see swords here. We need, not the swords that I want to see anyway. We need to have a little bit more open communication, and I think that's where that's the biggest opportunity here. There is one thread here, which is some of you are already exiting a relationship. So this can be divorce, this can be some of the difficulty in that, or this can just be kind of walking away from something, or loss. It happens fast, it hurts, but I see benefits on this side. And a lot of resources coming in, 6 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune. So when it's all said and done and when the dust settles, we have independence and we have enough to get you through to the next level, okay? So however you want to look at it, the important thing this month is space, balance, and communication, and communicating how and what you guys need to get through some of the challenges. In the traditional wedding vows, it is for better or for worse. This is a tricky week here, a tricky month, but you can get through it, and it's just navigating change. Change requires communication and flexibility. Those aren't easy things, so that's what you want to focus on. For those that are looking for love, I think it's this week isn't the week to focus on it. Let's put it that way. Unless whoever, was it the last element that I read for? I think it was. So yeah, water, you guys got the 2 of Cups. It'll be a little easier for you, but I think everybody else, it would really be good to focus on personal healing, finishing up whatever you're doing right now so that the dust can settle, etc. And most importantly, self-care. Can you call in a partner? Yes. The thing is, they seem to be fiercely independent. So it may be a time where I think it would be better to focus on money, health, and vision. I'm honest when I see it. If I see a lot of love and opportunity coming, I'll say it. If I don't, I'll say it. All right. If you're single and happy, you just got it. What I said here. This is a time to focus on dreaming, self-care, healing, looking at your money, looking at your, excuse me, your overall resources, and setting into motion something new. Let's take a look at destiny here. Here we go. It's a new beginning. And sometimes you see the shadow before you see the light. This is something to be cognizant of. If there's a shadow in your life, a challenge, a block, etc., there's also a light source, and it could be trying to block you from the light source, or you have to figure out what's causing the shadow. So that's one thing that comes through on this, because things are about to get very clear, very bright, very good, but you have to move through the fear of what's coming before you can embrace what's coming. Thank you, angels, for opening up the doors to change. I am ready. This is your connecting flight. This is your portal. It can be scary, but it can be exhilarating too. And once you get out there and spread your wings, there would be no other way that you'd rather live or be or want to sort of exist than that. But sometimes you have to, it's like the baby bird that needs a nudge out of the nest, right? So the spiritual energy is coming through saying there's a new beginning. So this could be like Azrael, basically saying, and we could connect this to judgment. And we had the world coming through as well. What was it, Monday, right? So today is the day where we're just kind of a little bit nervous, but things start to really open up tomorrow. So see what tomorrow brings and see if there isn't something that kind of gets you excited. Hey, buddy, you want to say hi to everybody before you go? He's like, no, I want to go get a drink. Maybe at the end, if Apollo comes back, I'll bring him up here. Okay, so one more card here that I want to focus on before we get into the next component of the reading, and that is the sort of like, so what here, the big idea. The big idea is one where it's kind of aligning us to the special topic. So hello, dragon energy. Dragons are powerful, they're rich, they're auspicious, and we're going to ask the dragon energy today to show us the path towards wealth and self-worth. So let's see what the dragon energy spirit guides want to bring through with respect to that. What have we missed so far, or what should we focus on even more than we have? This card is sideways. There we go. Partnership is coming through again. So, Four of Wands. One of my favorite cards in the minor arcana. Friendship, partnership, fidelity, monogamy, things that we can trust, things that we can lean on. And with this, sometimes you have to set the stage for something even better before it happens. So in the case of a business, here's a couple of examples. You would figure out a name, you would find a location or an online location, you set up the store or the storefront, and then you turn on the lights and then you put on the open sign. The storefront, the web domain, the telephone number, the email address, that's your Four of Wands. You've got to create the channels where people can communicate with you and find you. On social media, it's your handle, all that stuff. Then you put the stuff in the store and then you turn on the lights and then you welcome people. So that's a Four of Wands for you. It can also be in your own life, just creating new habits, new things that are the stage or the welcome mat for the partnership, for the love, for the opportunity. So this is a time to set the stage and to know that people aren't here yet. The things may not be present yet, but they would never come until you set that up anyway. So set the stage, create the space, and then tomorrow gets really exciting because you've done the work today. Okay? We have two more pieces of this magical reading. The first is going to be a meditation. I always do that in my live streams. And then we're going to do a final question. So I did my best today to navigate through everything that you saw that came through, but there may be one extra question that's really specific to you. Because this is general, I always put a bonus one at the end. So scribble it down, think about it. We're going to meditate first, then I'll address that question. Before we do that, by the way, give me a like and subscribe if you enjoy this, and I'll give you some more ways to connect afterwards. But first things first, let's get ready for our meditation. Okay, so here's how this works, and here's what we're going to focus on. I actually want to connect with Jupiter because I'm seeing, well, I saw it from a distance here, it kind of just looked like Jupiter to me. So we're going to imagine that you're on one of the moons of Jupiter, and that in front of you, you can just see this swirling, marbly mass of clouds and energy. Close your eyes for a moment and know that because we're just astrally projecting, we don't have to worry about breathing or safety or any of that. We're just in front of this massive energy in our solar system. Allow yourself to say, I'm ready to receive messages, love, abundance, prosperity, all things wonderful. I'm ready to receive love and abundance in the highest forms. Know that Jupiter is like a giant magnifying glass and a giant megaphone. So when you send positive thoughts into the energy of Jupiter, it's going to blast it out to the ends of the cosmos. So I want you to take this meditation and think affirmative thoughts. I am lovable. I am capable. I am ready. I am open. And if you want to get more specific to this, and this, go for it. But at the very least, think of these things and send them into Jupiter. And like a drum, it's going to echo them out into the furthest expanses of the universe, to your guides, to your higher self, to opportunities that you couldn't have even dreamed of. And it's going to help you see the path to the next step. Okay? So just see yourself meditating in front of this. This is all that you can see in front of you is Jupiter because it's massive. And give it a little bit of gratitude too. So say, thank you for helping me expand. Thank you for helping me see beyond blocks. And these are my thoughts and messages that I'd like you to amplify. Take a few deep, deliberate breaths, breathing in possibilities, exhaling, letting go of anything that does not serve your highest good, feeling this sense of power, light, and capability and possibility. Take one last deep inhale, and as you exhale, gently open your eyes. I'd like you to focus on the question that you had for me a few moments ago. If you just joined, think of something that you need guidance on. Keep that in your heart and in your mind for a moment. I'm going to shuffle the cards and see what Spirit has to say. Fantastic. So we have the Magician that came through. If you see it, you can experience it in your life. Believing is seeing, not the other way around. Believe it and then find it in real life. Focus your energy on one thing this week. I love that we got this came through as well in the elemental forecast, so it's something we can all benefit from. So this is a period during which you can massively benefit from focusing and believing in yourself. Thoughts are magical, and we can choose to elevate or deflate. So let's elevate. Let's lift ourselves up. Let's focus on what's possible. Let's connect to the possibilities. Let's communicate that possibility out into the universe. Feel free to meditate on Jupiter and send out some more positive thoughts, if you will. And know that you've got this, folks. This is a yes. For those that were asking, like, can I do it? Yes. How can you do it is through focus and belief. And don't underestimate your magnetic qualities. Charisma is something that comes through on this one. So charisma is interesting because you would benefit from having a face-to-face or a telepresence, so like FaceTime, Zoom, etc., or anything like that, because people can see you and they can hear you. It's going to be stronger than email. Your voice and your face and the two together, that's going to be a powerful thing to basically leverage this week as well. All right, everyone. Let's take a couple moments here just to do some wrapping up. I hope you enjoyed everything. If you did, a quick reminder that I do this every single Sunday. So join me again next Sunday. I'll be here. The time, on occasion, rare occasion, maybe 2 to 3 times a year, might adjust. Usually it's 9 a.m. Pacific. This weekend it was a couple hours earlier because of a schedule change. To make sure that you never miss out on something, hit that subscribe button if you're new. Opt into bell notifications if you haven't done that before, and click all, and give the video 1 like. It will help it out more than you could imagine. You can also follow me on social media. I typically put an announcement of any schedule changes across the major platforms. It's always my name, at Nicholas Ashbaugh. And if you need to go to my website, you can look at the exact spelling and all the stuff there. A reminder, I don't give private readings. I would never use direct message to ask for anything, especially money. So if anybody's doing that, block them, report them, let me know here as well. If you'd like to show support, it's optional, and you can do it through super stickers, super chats, super thanks, or memberships, and it's always optional. So thank you for that. It does help, and I'm going to take a couple moments here to say thank you to the folks that have done just that. I want to welcome back all of my longtime viewers first, and say thanks to all of my longtime members first. And now I'm going to say thanks to the newest ones. So let's take a moment here. And just watching and being present is gift enough. So thank you just to the viewers as well, whether you've subscribed or not. But subscribing is free and it helps. So think about it if you haven't. All right. Looks like we have 2 new members today, Annie Jax and Rosalind. Rosalind, you rejoined. Good to have you back. Thank you to both of you for going that extra mile. Give me a moment here to say thanks to the super stickers and super chat folks. Then we'll see if I missed anything in general chat. All right. So looking at the weekly collective, here we go. Kicking things off today. Here we go, September 9th. All right, Tracy, thank you for starting things off. We also have Pauses and Passages, JD, Schupferkind, I think it is, Sash, and Kathy. I appreciate all of you. And let me take a quick look and see what I can see in chat here as well. Sometimes there are people that have celebrated a sort of milestone. I think I've caught everybody. Yeah, I got everybody. Cool. All right, folks, thank you for joining. And if you did miss this or you joined a little late because the time had changed, don't worry, it'll be available immediately when I stop the recording so that you can watch it again. In the meantime, I just want to send you lots of love and light, and I'll see you again this week. You can check out all my daily card readings as well on the main channel page. And until then, till I see you next, much love and light. Let's see if I can bring Apollo for the close. Sometimes I forget to bring him up, but here's Apollo, sending all of you lots of loves and snuggles. Wishing you guys the best. Thank you so much. Take care. I'm going to go walk this guy now. Bye-bye.